Got another project in the garage today. This is a 2001 Yamaha Blaster. Looks mostly complete. It's in average condition. The owner said that this was recently rebuilt with a 240 big bore stroker kit. Plastics are a little worn, so I'll have to refresh the plastics. Got some rust on the suspension. Those will get redone. Seems like those front shocks are still good. I know that the rear shock needs to be rebuilt. The wheels look like they're in decent shape. Some nicks and dings here and there. Not super familiar with blasters, but it looks like there's probably a chain guard here this was cut off. Maybe like a Banshee. Comes in one piece. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at that. Some V-Force 4 reeds and an awesome China carb. He has the original carb he's going to bring to me. So the plan is to break this down and refinish the frame, the A-arms, the suspension, the motor. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. He says that it was recently rebuilt, but there's definitely a lot of seepage going on here. So I'm not sure if he replaced all the seals when he did that or not. So I might just tear that apart anyway to replace all the seals. Got an FMF pipe that'll need to be cleaned up. The guy I bought it from said that he replaced all of the bearings and the bushings and the front suspension, says that that is all new. Said that he also did the swing arm. You can see there's a new cap on here, so I believe him that he replaced that as well. Gonna need a set of tires. I was hoping that I can get by with these tires, but now as I look closer, these are pretty dry rotted. So we're gonna have to replace, I think, all 4 tires. I do like the look with the black frame, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna bring this back to its original state with this silver frame. And it doesn't feel like there's any play whatsoever in the wheel bearings or these the suspension bearings or bushings. That all lines up with what he was saying, that he replaced all those bearings and bushings. The carburetor leaks, so probably has a float needle sticking. So hopefully when he brings me the original carb, we can get that into good working order. Seat cover is in fairly decent shape. It does have one little tear on the back. I don't think I'm going to replace that. I think I'm going to stick with this seat cover. This is a cool little quad. I can't wait to get started on it. I just have to finish getting things put away. In the garage is just recently repainted the workbench and my shelves here. It matches the toolbox. Everything looks a little bit nicer now. So I just need to finish putting things away, and then we can wheel this in and get started on it. First thing I'm going to do is get all these stickers off of the plastics, and then I'm going to remove the plastics. Then I'll remove the Nerf bars, and I think I'll put it up on the jack and start popping the wheels off. And at that point, I'll get a better look at the condition of all of the components. Then we can pull the motor, and I'll get the motor on the bench. Then I'll work on disassembling the front and rear suspension. We'll have to remove the headlight and the steering stem, handlebars obviously, and all the controls. Looks like I'm going to be replacing most of the hardware on this thing. I could see that there's mismatched hardware everywhere, and a lot of it is rusted. So for the disassembly, I'm going to put this on time lapse. That way I can crank up my music in the background and I won't get flagged by YouTube. take a closer look at this pipe, it's obvious somebody used some kind of rotary tool on here to take the rust off, and didn't do a very good job. The blaster is disassembled. I'm not going to disassemble that entire swing arm because those bearings and everything were just recently done. I'm just going to clean it up. All I need to do here is pull off this grab bar, the tail light, the remaining part of the wire harness, and the coil. Taking a break from prepping the frame for paint and refinishing these tie rods. See, this one I already did. So this one I'm going to do next. I'll show you how I do that. All right, so this is a 6-inch fiber wheel that I'm using here on a bench buffer grinder. And I have a 3-inch over here on this one, but this one is a little bit too rough. This one's a little bit finer. There you can see that. Nice and smooth. So I'm going to do this one. I'll go ahead and put this on a time lapse or speed up the video. Okay, these are both completed. So that took me 6 minutes to do one. So 12 minutes to do both of these. And then I'll just clean up the ends. And I will spray these with a clear coat because they usually come with a anti-rust coating on there. And putting them on the grinder, we just wore that off. So we're gonna go ahead and get them protected again with some clear coat. Today we're gonna start a reassembly of the Blaster. First thing that I'm going to install is the steering stem. I'm going to put some fresh grease. Next, I'm going to install the cotter pin, and we're going to install the upper steering stem support. I'll put some grease on here. We're going to slide the two seals into place. I'm going to put some grease on the second part of the clamp. Now I'm going to tap these locking prongs back into place. Now you can see these two prongs will keep these bolts from spinning out. All right, next I'm going to install the A-arms. All right, now I'll jump over to the other side. All right, next I'm going to be installing the steering knuckle and hub assemblies. Now I'm going to install the 4 cotter pins before I forget. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now don't forget your cotter pins. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start mounting some of the electronics. Mounted the voltage regulator here. Mounted the CDI here. This is a little bit different than the CDI that I've seen online. I've seen larger ones, but this does have a Yamaha logo on it. I thought it was aftermarket, but let me know in the comments if this is OEM or if this is aftermarket. So now I'm going to set this video on a time lapse while I run some of these cables and some of these wires. So I can get some better weight distribution, I'm going to throw the motor back into the frame, and also so I can free up some space because we just picked up another blaster. So now I have to make room. I have the motor over there on the bench, building that bottom end right now. All right, so I'm just gonna put a towel. All right, so this is where we're at with the 01, and this is the 03. I'm gonna try to catch the 03 up to where we are with the 01, and then I can build them together. Next, I'm going to be installing the swing arm, the chain sliders, the axle carrier, and a few other things on the rear end. All right, before I go further with the assembly, I wanted to talk a little bit about the suspension. These here are the stock Blaster shocks. This here on the right is a shock from an LTZ 400. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I did 2 LTZ 400s, and this shock came with a part slot with one of those LTZ 400s. So when I bought the Blaster, it was obvious that this rear shock was blown out. So I planned on either rebuilding it if possible or replacing it. But after doing a little bit of research, I found online that a lot of people are replacing this shock with a shock from an LTZ 400 or possibly a Honda shock. So I was like, man, I have an LTZ 400 shock hanging on the wall in the garage. So this piece of crap is gone in the trash. And this will be going on the Blaster. Now, a lot of people make this upgrade for a couple different reasons. One, this is a beefier shock. It has a little bit longer travel. And two, it has a lot more adjustability than the Blaster shock. This has dampening adjustments on both the top and the bottom. Now, it's not a direct bolt in. It does require some modifications. You have to drill out the bottom here. This needs to be a 12mm hole to match this pin, which is a 12mm pin. So that doesn't fit. I'm going to drill that out on the drill press. This top section of the shock is a little bit more narrow than the stock Blaster shock. There's a kit that's available online that's specifically made for adding this Z400 shock to the Blaster. That kit includes 2 bushings that mount on either side of the top portion of the shock. Now, this shock is about a ½ inch longer than the Blaster shock, so the Blaster will sit just a little bit taller. So how do you get these springs off of the shocks? So if you look at the bottom, see this little opening here? So this spring needs to be compressed downwards, and then you can slide this locking plate off of the shaft of the shock, and then the spring comes out this way. All right, now I'm going to install the springs back onto the shocks. We're going to do both sets. I'm going to be using the same spring compressor tool that we use to remove the springs. Next, I'm going to install the gas tank. Next, I'm going to install the pipe. First, I have a hanger that gets installed right up in here. Now we're going to do some work on the plastics while I wait for some more parts to arrive. Here's one of the gas tanks. I just finished doing that. It came out pretty good. And we're going to get started on this one. After I finished polishing up all the plastics, then I started installing the new graphics. Graphics that I selected for this one have a nice vintage Yamaha look. So here's an image of the Blaster before giving it a full refresh. And this is how it looks now. Came together very nicely. A freshly painted frame, suspension, brand new tires, refinished plastics, new graphics. The only thing left to do is to get this listed for sale and finish the 03. I am still waiting on some parts for Blaster number 2. First Blaster was completed and actually sold already. This one is pretty much done. It's just it's giving me hard starting issues. I think I'm having issues with the reeds that I purchased, so I have a new set of V-Force 4 reeds that I ordered that I'm going to be putting in.